guess what? There is some brand new UAP video that just dropped, possibly shot from a Navy ship, once again, off the coast of Southern California, which for some reason, has been this very, very weird hotspot for all kinds of unidentified flying objects that don't seem to care that there are all kinds of Navy warships that are out there training.
I mean, let's be realistic. This is not a foreign entity. If it was, they would control us. It's not China. It's not Russia. It's something else, and we need to address it. And we're not. And it's been a cover-up since Roswell. The Russians, the Chinese, every one of them has a Roswell-type incident that they'll talk about. We need to get it out in the public. You see these pictures. These are obviously not American aircraft. If you believe your Bible, read first chapter of Ezekiel. Ezekiel saw the wheel. It pretty much describes what you would describe now as a UFO, an aircraft from outer space that comes and lands on the planet Earth. I mean, read it. I know everybody's going to say I'm a tinfoil hat wearing redneck, but the reality is there's something out there, and we're not addressing it.
Transparency breeds trust. New boss, same as the old boss. This administration is no better when it comes to transparency about UAPs. Investigative journalist Jeremy Corbell, along with his partner George Knapp, got their hands on newly released Navy footage of UFO sightings from 2023. What you're looking at right now is the footage and what Corbell believes to be one of 4 tic-tac-shaped UFOs, I'm sure there's a better way to talk about them, emerging from the water, then flying at supersonic speeds. Out of the water, supersonic. How? Corbell then spoke to an unnamed member of the Navy who witnessed these firsthand, said this.
To see the lights emerging from water, what we witnessed was all 4 of them, all in synchronous, jetting off into the abyss. All 4, all timed together, and all left. And we were like, holy shit. Maybe 3-4 seconds pass, I run to my station and I look at my radar and they're all gone.
Now, quick refresh about why this area matters so much. 2004, we've all seen this video that was showing what was described by Navy pilots flying off the USS Nimitz as a white tic-tac that was zooming around in ways and speeds they just could not explain. In 2019, sailors on the USS Russell, again, off the coast of San Diego, seeing what they described in night vision goggles as upside-down pyramids, and then brings us to today. This new infrared video just released by documentary filmmaker Jeremy Corbell showing what he says was an incident on the USS Jackson. It's one of these littoral ships, one of the highest tech ships that we have in our arsenal. And according to Corbell, Navy sailors were actively tracking one of 4 unknown objects observed going in and out of the water. No heat plumes, no exhaust, nothing. And here is how one of the witnesses on board the ship described it.
I go out to the bridge wing. I'm noticing things and lights on the horizon and like city lights or any other ships that are out there. So seeing a light that is lifting up, you can see it. I know the difference between a light on the horizon coming up and a light coming out of the water. When you've been on the water more in your life than you haven't been, you know the difference.
Yeah, man, this is an interesting case. There is power in military footage. It's few and far between that we get great sensor data on something that is truly anomalous, and that's what we're seeing here, backed up, of course, by the eyewitness testimony. This ship is one of the most technologically equipped ships, but additionally, this is a senior ranking Navy official who I believe will end up coming forward. They saw these craft coming out of the water, at least one of them coming out of the water. That's transmedium. This is in the Combat Information Center. Also, they saw 4 of them in total. They saw them on radar, then they picked them up in thermal. That's why it looks black and white. But if you look at a plane through that system, you see wings, a tail, exhaust, rotors, all sorts of heat signatures. You're not seeing that here. So again, it was tracked on radar, tracked on thermal. There was a kind of a synchronized, coordinated, instantaneous departure described to me and George Knapp by the firsthand witnesses. This is really reminiscent of the 2004 Tic Tac UFO, where Commander David Fravor, who testified in front of Congress, chased a UFO for the United States military. Cat's out of the bag. Sailors are seeing stuff, and now we have more evidence. And in fact, these are senior ranking Navy officials. You know, they don't want to go by their full identity at this time, but they will at some point. They're in the Combat Information Center. They get this footage. It's FLIR, forward-looking infrared. So it's black and white. What you're supposed to be seeing, we don't see. We don't see tails. We don't see thermal plumes. We don't see any signature of a normal aircraft. So that's what makes this case fascinating. We have both witnesses coming forward as well as the hardcore data and evidence.
And does that mean white is hot, black is hot there, or what's the thermal imaging and like why do we see that tic-tac shade?
Sure. Yeah, so this is in black hot. It can switch between the two. But what's really important about this is that the high-ranking Navy official said, we saw one of these come up out of the water. We then went to radar and we saw 4 of them. We then took our thermal cameras and we looked at one. And when you look at a plane, it looks like a plane. This doesn't look like a plane. In fact, it looks like the Tic Tac from 2004, where Commander David Fravor chased a UFO for the United States military. So look, it's tracked on radar, it's tracked on FLIR. We're lucky to have some of this footage that you're able to see now. But what you're not seeing, Gotti, is you're not seeing the typical signatures you'd see on an aircraft. This is a very unique propulsion system, it appears from this footage. And again, people have come forward and risked to bring this footage to me and George Knapp. And as journalists, we have a duty to put it out after investigating it. I'm glad that it's out now.
Yeah, and I'm glad you're putting it out too. And again, you know, we are lucky to see those images, but what happens all the way before that is what's really important. And I mean, if you get a chance, go back and listen to what Commander Fravor said about what happened back in 2004. Opens your eyes. But Jeremy, I know you've been pushing for government disclosure on all this like harder than anybody else I know. This administration seemed to suggest that they were going to get to the bottom of it, and yet, like, so far, we are pretty well into this. Why aren't we seeing like more tangible evidence from people that aren't just coming forward scared to lose their jobs and scared to lose their livelihoods? Like, why don't you think we're seeing like the government say, this is what's going on?
Everybody says we don't have stuff like that. Don't take my word for it. Commander David Fravor testified in front of Congress. We didn't have technology like this in 2004. We do not have technology like that now. We also wouldn't be testing, you know, kind of black budget technologies in these warning areas right off the coast of San Diego. This has been going on for decades, if not centuries. We don't have technology like this, but take the word of people that testify in front of Congress who know.
Why do you think they're not telling us?
Yeah, man, it brings us back to like the core question here. We want transparency. We want the truth. We've been told UFOs are real, but that's it. Congress has done their best so far. I am holding hope. If you remember this last hearing at Congress, I was able to bring in the Immaculate Constellation documents, and I actually brought the whistleblower himself in to speak with members of Congress. He didn't testify publicly for personal reasons so far, but we learned from his testimony that there are thousands of videos of high quality of UFOs, UAP that's been admitted to, the public hasn't seen. I'd sure like to see them. UFOs have been taboo for so long. It's now admitted that they're flying with impunity within our restricted airspace, and we have footage like this, military filmed UAP from a Navy warship in a critical area just off the coast of California. It's going to take time, but you know, you got to be optimistic. You got to keep fighting, easy way or hard way, and this is going to come out.
Yeah, I can't wait to know what is going off the coast of California here. I mean, this is a very weird hotspot.
Okay, my people, here we go. I want y'all to understand what's getting ready to take place, because I told you already that the UFO, the sightings are going to increase. And this year, 2025, in the Gregorian calendar, it's going to increase even more now. What's happening is they are going to use the activity of our brothers and sisters moving across the sky, because they're not going to bother anyone right now. They're just waiting for the perfect alignment. It's the alignment with the cosmos. They're not going to bother anyone, but they're going to use the activity that we are seeing now in our skies coming out of the ocean. They're going to use that and to introduce their creator. They're going to, the entities that created the complex cell, the white man, the Asian man, the Arab man, them people right there, they're going to use the activity with the universe, with our brothers and sisters moving in. They're going to use that activity to introduce Pindar, Moloch, the Dragon King, and the rest of his peers. They're going to be introduced first before our brothers and sisters touch down on this planet. Remember, if you read the Bible, and the Bible was written by extraterrestrials, at the end, God says Satan will be revealed. Satan and his crew will be revealed, and they will have to walk the earth so everybody can see him or see it. And that is what's going to happen. Satan is supposed to return before God return. So understand and understand, they're using the activities, or they're going to use the activities along with a lot of false flags to introduce Pindar, Moloch, the Dragon King. And then after he's introduced and his crew, then as time go on, then our other brothers and sisters, when the perfect alignment takes place in the cosmos, that gives our brothers and sisters the green light to say, okay, full reveal time. And that's what we're moving into. This is when you hear the news reporters asking, why is the government keeping this away from people? Because it reveals that you are a mutated species, that you're not natural to the planet. And it debunks your God. It debunks your God. It debunks your claim to existence. It debunks everything. And then when that's debunked, guess what happens? See, it's more of a psychological effect on a complex cell as opposed to us. We're going to cry and be hurt. These people are going to literally kill themselves, kill each other, and try to attack the species that actually created them. I'm telling you, because they're going to feel like they were influenced to do it, to live a lie. Although they want to blame their actions on someone else, they are the full responsible party for what they have done. Abundance and gratitude to you all. You can call me off. I'm off my rocker, whatever you want to call it. But it seems like everything that I've been stating, and it's not really me, it's the cosmos. I am just one of many beacons of light down here that's sticking with the core things that can resolve the issues that we have. I don't have time to argue with the earth flat around. I don't have time to tell you about some war between a grasshopper and some fucking other entity on another realm. The reason why they go on to war, because they don't want their kids, they're not going to let their kids be subjugated to a fucking abusive species. So maybe we should at least take that from them while they still going to war. But yet we want to know their language they speak in. We want to talk about them going to war. Meanwhile, we're not even facing or want to face this brutality attack that's being pushed upon us. Abundance and gratitude to you all.